The truth is that talent and credentials and how great you are at what you do aren't really enough to be able to scale your business. If your business is not growing, there's very typically something in your structure, your energy, or your message that's actually blocking that growth. I've identified 5 critical mistakes that keep coaches and experts stuck basically at the same income level despite their expertise and all their hard work. These aren't surface level tips. We're going to go deep into strategic mindset and messaging shifts that are going to change how you show up and, more importantly, how people respond to you. So let's break them down. So the first common mistake I see is a lot of inconsistent messaging. If your messages changes with every single post, every offer, every email you send out, it's literally costing you trust and sales. And I see this happening all the time. A health coach that's talking about nutrition on Monday, mindset on Wednesday, and then suddenly they're experts at hormone balance by Friday. And it's like going back and forth and all of these different things. That inconsistency is really confusing your audience because they can't figure out what you actually stand for or what transformation you're going to provide for them. But more importantly, it makes you sound like you're figuring it all out, which essentially is going to repel those power buyers. Like, would you invest thousands of dollars with somebody who seems to be changing their focus every week, updating their Instagram bio every single day? Or would you choose a person who has a very clear, a very consistent message that simply resonates very deeply? So to be able to fix it, you want to begin by really anchoring to your angle of mastery. That is your unique lens, that specific way of seeing the problem that makes your solution different from all the other experts and all the other coaches out there. The second thing you need to do is that you need to repeat your core themes consistently. Don't worry about being repetitive. Being repetitive is actually way more effective than feeling like you need to change things up every single day. If anything, worry about being forgettable because nobody knows what you actually do. I feel like this is something that people often worry about, that they are being too repetitive. First of all, people aren't making or paying that much attention to you. But honestly, my friend, the more repetitive you are, the more solid your message actually becomes. And it actually helps you turn what you do even more into a need to have. Even if people are watching your content every single day, it's super clear and top of mind what you do and why they need to work with you versus other people out there who are actually pretty inconsistent with that message. You really want to focus on playing the long game because the truth is that clarity is going to keep on compounding. The longer that you stay consistent with your core message, the more that it's going to build up in people's minds. So then the second mistake that I see people making way too often is having too many offers. Honestly, having more offers doesn't make you more scalable. It just makes you feel more scattered. I see so many coaches that have a group coaching program, a VIP day, a membership, a course, one-on-one coaching, a bunch of different courses in the middle, and they're selling every single one of those things at the very same time. They think that they need to create more opportunities for people to buy, but what they're actually doing is creating a lot of confusion because multiple offers are honestly going to split your energy. They confuse your brand and it makes your message weaker. You end up marketing 5 things halfway instead of doing one thing powerfully. They see brands like Tony Robbins who have like a bunch of different offers and they think, okay, if they do it, I can do it too. But you have to understand that these are really well established brands and names. You have to keep it simple. Once you've established your brand and really built recognition, go ahead and create as many offers as you want. It's funny because when I started my business, it was really bilingual. I did everything in Spanish and in English, and it was the same offer. It was just in 2 languages. But I swear it was the most overwhelming thing in the world because I was basically running 2 businesses at the same time. My energy was so diluted, it was really difficult to sustain. That's why ultimately I ended up kind of ditching the Spanish speaking stuff and just focus on English. If you consolidate what you do around a core signature transformation, that's going to be stronger for you and easier for you to stick to and really sell ultimately, and having your audience feel like this is what you do. And yes, you could have other offers, but they need to have a very clear brand narrative that speaks to the ultimate thing that you do. Power buyers want the clearest path to results. They don't necessarily need a whole menu of options to get there. The thing with this is that you have to understand that you don't need to scale through more, you need to scale through mastery. The third mistake that I see happening way too often is showing up once a week and expecting to have six-figure months in your business. Like, okay, my friend, like, let's be real, right? That's just wishful thinking. It's not leadership. It's not being a smart business person. In today's market, being kind of sporadic with your visibility is really going to hurt you. Your audience needs to see consistent evidence of your expertise and commitment. The problem I see is that people are really showing up when they feel like it. They're launching halfway, like half-ass, basically, waiting for the algorithm instead of building the strategy that's going to get them to where they want to be. And the thing with that is, like, I understand you really wanting to feel connected with your business, but when you're posting once a week or doing it only when you feel inspired, it means that people don't get to see you. Your brand is going to be really diminished because of that, and it's ultimately going to hurt your business. Now, my thing here is not telling you hustle your way through everything and be visible every single day, even when you're sick and even when you're tired, but it's really about building systems, building frameworks, building processes and automations that allow you to feel, or your audience to feel, like you are really visible even when you're not, right? So you have to focus really on making sure that that message is really solid and that you're showing up consistently, even when you're not, but really allowing that brand and that message and what you do to become stronger and showing that certainty in what you do every single day. Showing up once in a while or when you feel like it is not a strategy, right? Stop trying to feel ready and instead lead through your process, like really making sure that you're showing up in your business and doing what it takes, even when it's hard. And that leads me to the mistake that I see is number 4, which is kind of going to sound a little bit counterintuitive and in a way opposite to what I just said, but it's trying to be everywhere all at once. If you're on every single platform saying different things, burned out by content creation, you're not building a brand, you're building chaos. So it's like you're trying to master Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube and you're podcasting and you're doing this and you're doing that and you're doing it all at once. You're setting yourself up for failure. That scattered focus creates scattered energy. And when you dilute your visibility, you end up diluting your authority. The reframe that's going to make the difference for you is that scaling is about deepening, not widening. Your brand doesn't grow by you being everywhere. It grows by you having a strong core message that is really magnetic where it matters most. So instead of doing it all, choose one, maybe 2 aligned platforms and focus on making sure that that message resonates, not just focusing on like, let me get more reach. It's better to be powerful in one place than being forgettable everywhere. And that takes me to the last and final mistake, which is being way too transactional. Listen, like if you're only focused on getting sales this month, you're playing the short game. And your audience very likely feels it. But not only that, like, sure, you're going to show up being pushy and like focus on like really short-term results and all of that. But you're not building a business for the long term, right? Power buyers are people that are going to invest in brands that they can trust over time. The most scalable businesses are relationship driven, not revenue desperate. So focus on building nurture loops, prioritize delivering value before pitching, and build relationships even if the sale is going to take a little bit longer. When you shift from transaction to transformation in your messaging, everything that you do is going to change. Power buyers respond to it and your business scales naturally. You know, for me, I think that a lot of people are just focused on a lot short-term game and don't realize the power of the long-term game and how much really taking the time to nurture your audience, to build those relationships, to show up for them is going to positively impact the growth of your business. Now, the good news with all of these mistakes is that they're all fixable with being really intentional around your strategy, your messaging, your mindset. Addressing these hidden blocks doesn't just increase your sales. Honestly, it transforms your entire experience of building your business. When your message is clear, your offers are focused, your presence is consistent, your platforms are strategic, and your relationships are authentic, scaling will happen naturally. If you want to know if one of these hidden blocks are keeping you from scaling, let's hop on a quick 15-minute brand message assessment where I'm going to give you a quick personalized feedback on exactly what you need to shift in your message in order to make sure that it's scalable. And go to brandmessagesession.com to book it right now, or you can find the link underneath this episode. You can also go to powerbuyerclients.com to find a training on how to speak to power buyers and how to create a message that is really, really solid. Make sure that you subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts, and you follow me on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, and everywhere as Favi Paolini. And let me know below which of these 5 mistakes are you resonating with the most and you need to fix ASAP. Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in another episode. Bye.